Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Lex, and I would greatly appreciate it if you want to support me, support the channel, and support the content. If you would consider liking, sharing, commenting, and subscribing, it helps to get the videos out there. It inspires me to keep creating, and it lets me know you guys like the content. The next goal we have here on this channel is to reach 10K, and I really would love to reach that goal by the end of 2025. I think we can do it way before then because I know you guys really rock with the channel and support me. And I'm literally so grateful for you guys. Not to get sappy over here on main, but girl, you guys are the best. So thank you guys so much. Today we are going to be talking about the Ultimatum episode 5. Finally going to be caught up on the episodes. One quick thing. When it comes to me posting the episodes and the titles of the episodes and things like that, guys, I post my recaps on a strong delay. While I never intentionally put a spoiler in the title, at this point, I did the 3 and 4 recap yesterday. I ended up changing the title because someone had a complaint. But at the end of the day, guys, these episodes also dropped nearly a week ago. I totally get that not everybody watches at my pace, but at the same time, I kind of feel like you can't really come down on content creators if you have not seen the episode over pretty much a week later and you're upset because the title alluded to a spoiler that happened in the episode. I just don't really, you know what I mean? I'm not trying to start nothing, but I changed the title yesterday. However, if you have not caught up on the show, I am sorry. At this point, we are literally nearly a week out from these episodes. And so if something is a spoiler in the title, I am sorry about that. But I post my recaps on a strong delay where it's like these episodes are nearly a week old by the time that I post my recaps. So anyway, just wanted to put that out there. Thank you guys so much for the support. I don't intend to put any spoilers in any titles, but as I said, if you're not caught up on the episodes, I would probably not even like if you're not caught up on the episodes or you're not caught up to where I'm at. I don't know. I am sorry about that whole thing, but anyways, let's get into it. So we are calling this episode "I'm Not Here for a Hall Pass." Let's get into it. So we start off our episode with Sandy and JR. They're having a picnic in the park.
Your ex-wife was cheating because you went through her phone?
Yeah, that's why I don't want to share phone passwords. Like I don't want to know what's in your phone because I don't want to see what you're doing behind closed doors.
And basically, they start to get into social media. Who should be posting who on social media? Do they expect that? Basically, what is the ground rules? Now, Sandy says that she expects that both of them should post each other on social media. I totally agree. JR, however, says, I believe the woman should be obligated to post the man. However, I feel like for the man, it should not be a requirement. He says that his reasoning behind this is because he doesn't want anybody to reach out to his wife. So by posting, your partner, that'll show, hey, I'm not single. I didn't. This is convoluted. This is very convoluted. And Sandy is, of course, like, so does this have to do with the fact that there was infidelity in your last relationship? And he's like, yeah, like, I just don't want anyone reaching out to my wife. But he's like, at the same time, that's why it's like, I don't want your phone passwords. I'm not asking for everything. I really want that trust to be there. I thought this was very convoluted. I'm going to be completely honest with you. As somebody who really doesn't use social media heavily, I guess outside of YouTube, I think YouTube is probably my most used social media app. I think this whole conversation is nonsensical. I think that personally speaking, if my partner wants to post me, they can post me. If they don't, they don't. I obviously judge it based off of if my partner uses social media. Now, do I think it's weird if my partner is on their stories every day, posting stuff, always posting pictures, and they never post me? Sure. I mean, mentally, I would probably think that was a bit weird, but I'm not going to put a rule out there in either side that you must post me. I just think that's very weird. I think this is definitely a case-by-case thing where if you notice a change in behavior or if it's very obviously clear that someone's hiding you, then say something. I thought JR's reasoning was very dumb, that he just expects that his wife is going to post him because to show that she's not single. That's weird. And I think that it's interesting because it seems like JR has a lot of insecurities from the infidelity in his last marriage, which I still have a lot of questions on that infidelity because I'm not, we obviously know he was definitely cheated on, but JR is also such a flirt and he is so quick to jump head first into Sandy. And it just really, really it's very interesting to me that he has this behavior. I'm just curious if what he had done wrong in the relationship, if anything. I just find it very, very weird though, because JR's behavior leads me to think that he's a cheater. But I'm not saying I do believe he was cheated on. I do believe he was cheated on. I'm not trying to deny that. I just feel like I wish I had more details on the infidelity. So Zaya and Scotty, they meet up with Zaina's sister and some of Zaina's friends. And
first, I think she was very open and honest. Everything that she shared about who she is.
And they are talking about how they both issued the ultimatum to their partners. Now, they're asking Scotty, what drew you to Zayna? And he says, look, in my relationship with Arya, there's a lot of insecurity. I'm constantly trying to prove that I'm not like the other guys she's dated, that I'm not like the other guys she's been with. Whereas with Zayna is very confident. She knows herself. I don't have to do that with her. Zayna says for her that she can tap into her emotions more and feel more vulnerable, and that's not seen as a weakness. So, again, I just have so many questions on Zayna. Well, Zayna and JR, I'm not surprised with that. I feel like JR definitely seems like the type who would call his girl sensitive, call his girl insecure. And we've heard him say that. We've heard him say that there's a lot of jealousy in the relationship. He's alluded to the fact that girls hit him up on social media and Arya feels some type, and Zayna, feels some type of way. So I could believe that. Now, with Scotty and Arya, I'm a little bit curious about that whole thing because Arya has also alluded to the fact that she doesn't always show Scotty that she appreciates him. Things have gotten lost in translation. And it just feels weird because it seems like they both have gotten into this headspace of putting a lot of the blame on Arya. So I'm just curious, again, more of their dynamic. So Scotty at this point says he is not sure about marrying Arya anymore. He says that at this point, he doesn't know that he would say yes to Arya if the question was, will you marry Arya tomorrow? Like, he does not know that he would say yes. Because at this point, he's realized that Zayna is an amazing woman. And he wouldn't have chosen her if there wasn't a possibility of something happening after the trial marriage. What? Excuse me? I've been watching a few other recaps and y'all girlies have clocked it best. I think this season is very interesting and we might actually and genuinely get some couple swaps because this is an attractive cast as well. I think in the previous seasons, half of the people or more weren't even into the marriages. Like they were not. Whereas with this cast, people are attractive. People are physically attracted to each other. And I feel like that leads into more. And I don't know. Scotty, the one that was so gung-ho about marrying Arya, is now saying he doesn't know. There's a possibility that Zayna might be the one. Zayna says that her idea of marriage has changed after this experiment. Now, Zayna's sister is like, I love JR though, so I would be really upset if they weren't together, which I thought was interesting. I don't know why I thought that her family wouldn't really like JR. That might just be my own projections based off how I feel. I will totally admit that that's my own projections. But Zayna says she's also not sure at this point that she wants to marry JR. So Arya and Caleb, we see them in another cutesy scene. They are having a fire and they play Chubby Bunny.
When I care about someone, I just care a lot.
Yeah, that's just how the heart swings, huh?
Yeah, just all in or nothing. Something that impressed me about you was...
Now, okay. Caleb says that Arya has done a lot to make him feel comfortable, and they're not even married yet. So he says, if you can do that all now just in the trial marriage, I can only imagine what it would be like if we were actually married, or if you were actually married, what that would look like. Now, she asks, like, are you a physical touch person? Do you like PDA? Whatever. And he says that he is the type that will, like, come up behind you in the grocery store, rub your shoulders. He likes to be a little touchy feely. So overall, he does say he is an affectionate person. They start to hold hands, and once again, we really see that connection forming with these two. And I do think these two are definitely more of a slow burn. It's not an immediate connection. Arya even lets us know in the confessional that she was not physically attracted to Caleb immediately, but as she's gotten to know him, the connection is really forming, and the feelings are really there. So Sandy and JR, they meet Sandy's family, Sandy's mom. I actually thought it was crazy. Like, Sandy's whole family was there.
Both the same zodiac sign.
Oh yeah, we're big Scorpio. That's
I've
the
never
first thing
talked
she
to another
told me
Scorpio
1 week
before.
apart.
First thing she said was like, "What's mine is yours." Like,
Yeah.
it's ours.
Like, whoa. He said that it was love at first sight with Sandy. He loved her swag and confidence. Again, love. These two have thrown out the word love so much, it's actually crazy. She says that, or he says he's never met anyone like her where it was like that right off the bat. And I was like, sir, you have a whole girlfriend. What do you mean you've never met someone like that? Huh? He says at this point, though, it feels like they are married. And at this point, he even calls her wifey. These two are in a relationship. These two are no longer in a trial marriage. They are in a relationship. I don't want to hear it. They are in a relationship. These two are dating. Now he says that Sandy is such a strong person and such a sweetheart. And under the table, she's rubbing his leg and everything. Now, Sandy says she knows that JR has a tough exterior, a strong outside, but he can be very deep and vulnerable, and that has opened up. And Sandy's mom and family seems to love JR. And this is the thing about JR. I think JR is very, very charismatic. I think that he is a well-spoken person. He's very charismatic. I can imagine that parents like him, families like him, people that don't have to see the dark side of him. But that's the thing. With JR, I feel like he definitely has that side of him that seems very flirty, a little bit selfish, just some of the things that we've picked up over these episodes, or at least I've picked up over these episodes, where I get it. I totally get Sandy's family liking him and thinking he's a great guy because he's very charismatic. He's very well spoken. So we get a scene of Nick alone, and he found out that JR met Sandy's mom, and it rocked him.
I love Nick so much, and I respect him and our relationship. And clearly, Nick was very hurt tonight, which I feel bad.
So at this point, he calls up Sandy, and Sandy picks up the phone with JR right there. We get a cam of them in their apartment. Them two are right there, and he says, I love you. I'm very scared. That's what Nick says. She hangs up. She hangs up that phone as this man is professing his love for her. Sandy does let us know in the confessional that she loves Nick, but wants to go through this process. And again, Nick, you are the one that brought her here. Do I think that JR and Sandy are playing in all of our faces and those two are for real in a relationship? Yes. But still, you brought her here, and now you are crying when you realize she actually is making a connection with someone. So at this point, she picks up yet again, and she's like, why do you keep blowing up my phone? And she hangs up again. They go all back and forth a little bit. He shows up at the apartment. Knock, 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 knock.
Leave. You need to leave. Seriously, this is so not fair. It's not okay.
I don't know you. You don't know me. Stop it. You don't know my girl. You don't know me. Why did this?
Now, JR opens the door and says, go away. She don't want to talk to you. He's like, yo, that's not your girl. That's not your girl. He's like, you're not funny. He's trying to big up himself, come at JR a little bit. JR is coming at him. And I was like, whoa, 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 whoa. Why is JR fighting like this is actually his girl? It's kind of crazy. Like, this man was low-key fighting like this was his girl. He shuts the door. Well, Sandy comes over at one point and she's like, we're not doing this. We're not doing this. She walks away. JR shuts the door. He comes back. He keeps knocking. And JR's like, look, she doesn't want to talk to you, okay? So at this point, Sandy is very frustrated. She feels like it is so unfair that Nick wants her to leave the experiment because his trial partner left and he can't handle being by himself. JR says, I'm not about to let Nick come in and demand to talk to my wife. Wife. He uses the word wife. This man seriously thinks that Sandy is his girlfriend. Whoa. Whoa. We then get a scene of Nick afterwards in his apartment sobbing. This man shuts the door and he is like boo-hoo crying. Whoa. Whoa there. Whoa, whoa, whoa. And again, all I really have to say to this is do not bring your partner to this place. Let that ego down and realize that life comes at you fast, okay? JR, was he doing too much? Absolutely. Absolutely. This man does not need to be for real calling Sandy his wife and literally yelling at her actual man to go away because that's his wife. That is crazy. That is crazy. Oh boy. All right, we get a scene of Caleb and Arya, and they are still continuing to connect more and more. We just see them talking. These two are always having these deep personal conversations, and they seem to get along very well. So Zaya and Scotty, they're sitting at the table, and Scotty's like, let's do some more things outside the house.
In an air.
You sounded like kind of disgusted by it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but that has nothing to do with like you. That was just like my raw reaction to the idea of being in a hot air balloon.
So, you know, he's like, how about a hot air balloon ride? And she's like, I don't think so. I don't think that's my vibe. Okay, what about cryotherapy? I don't really think so. So he's like, all right then, what is 32-year-old fun? Going to dinner? And she's like, well, we don't have to put like an age on it. Like, I don't know. Like, I didn't really find those two ideas to be very exciting. So she's like, okay. So he's like feeling some type of way. You could clearly tell that he feels some type of way about this whole thing. And she's like, what's wrong? What's up? And he's like, I don't know. I just kind of have a problem with rejection. And she's like, well, what did you think was the rejection? Me not wanting to do two things that you were into? Like, I'm sorry, those are just not my idea of fun. We see her in the confessional saying, I don't know, this is a side of Scotty I've never seen before, where I just didn't want to do two things he wanted to do. I don't want him to take it to this point where he's saying that I'm rejecting him. I don't really understand that. And I did think that was very interesting because, again, Scotty seems very my way or the highway. Okay, even with his whole dynamic with Arya, it's like, I want to marry you, but only if you come back to me. And I'm not going to move to where you're at. You know, he seems very my way or the highway. And we see he went from 0 to 100 because he then asks Zayna in the conversation, did you eat without me? And she's like, I did. He's like, wow, that's not what I expected in a trial wife. I don't want someone that's going to eat without me. And Zayna's even like, I don't know. Like, I feel like this whole thing changed the trajectory of the conversation simply because I didn't want to do something that he wanted to do. Pay attention to that too, by the way, with Scotty. I feel like pay attention to that because that's going to come back up, I feel like. So Mariah and Nick, they meet up again because they're going to support each other throughout the experiment, so they are boxing. Nick says he has been in a tailspin of emotional chaos. He pretended the bag was JR's face. I understand where Nick is coming from. Like, that's obviously someone with your girl, and you're going to feel some type of way. Is it still a little icky to anyone else, though, the way that Nick talks about JR? It just has a little too much vitriol. I don't know. And I don't even like JR. Y'all know I be coming down on JR every episode. But something about the way Nick is talking about him, I don't know. So he does tell Mariah about when he basically crashed out the other night when JR was talking ish as if Sandy was his chick. And let's be honest, Mariah, I know the producers are making these two meet up, but I feel like Mariah did not care. Mariah was like, oh, we are adults now. We shouldn't be doing that. She gives some like canned response. It's very awkward. Why are they having these two meet up? So Arya and Caleb. So they are now getting ready for the girls' night and the guys' night. So Arya is basically like, so how do you want me to approach like talking about our dynamic with Mariah?
Emotionally developed a connection. And that's not a lie.
I probably wouldn't say that. I probably wouldn't go with that.
And, what would you like me to say? Because she's really worried that Mariah is going to see the chemistry between them. And if she keeps going on this, we're just friends, we're just friends, we're just friends, it's going to be awkward. And she doesn't want to sit here and lie to Mariah. So she tells Caleb that she wants to say, look, I want to say there's a friendship with an emotional connection. Caleb is like, oh no, why do you have to say that? I don't really like you saying the emotional connection part of it all. He's like, I don't really like you saying the emotional part of that all. We get a confessional with Arya, and she's like, I don't really feel like Caleb is being very honest about our relationship. He wants to keep saying we're just friends, we're just friends, we're just friends, but obviously we do have a deeper connection, and I don't want to lie. We get a confessional with Caleb. Caleb's like, I'm gonna be honest, I don't even feel like Mariah's going to want to hear from Arya. Arya would be the last person that Mariah would want to hear from. So I would rather just take care of it myself and tell Mariah what I want to tell her rather than her saying anything. I agree with Arya. I feel like I agree with Arya. Like, what is the point of sitting here and hiding what's going on and playing around? And I think this is something I have heavily noticed about Caleb. Caleb likes to skirt around issues rather than going into them directly. I feel like that's the reason why he and Mariah are still together. It is very clear the way this man projects and always says, she's so young, she's never been with anyone. That's how he feels. He wants to be with somebody else. He wants to get out of the relationship, but he can't do it. Caleb seems very passive. I think he feels very afraid of hurting Mariah's feelings. And because of that, I feel like he really isn't honest about a lot of things. And I think Arya also picked up on that in this. So just him by being like, I'll tell her later. It's like, you're not going to see her though. It's a girl's night and a guy's night. You're not going to see her. So I agreed with Arya. I do think that Caleb needs to be honest and be upfront because that seems to be an issue in his relationship where, let's be for real, you don't want to be with Mariah, but you're too afraid to break up with her. Maybe because she had a hard life and all of these different things. So anyway, as they're getting ready for the girls and guys night, JR is talking to Sandy and he's like, you not wearing that out without me tonight? That's too damn sexy. And I'm like, excuse me, this is not your girl. Sir, this is not your girl. This is actually crazy. This is because if you watch this show and you had no idea what the premise is, you would think that JR and Sandy were like in a legit relationship. It's crazy. So anyways, we get to the girls' night. Sandy is very frustrated because Nick is realizing the reality of bringing her here. Mariah chimes in and says, I've been on a few excursions with Nick, and Nick is very in his head right now. He's guilty. He feels insecure. She says, I know he's been pouring himself into art lately. And Sandy says, what a fucking idiot. Excuse the She says, what a fucking idiot. You're pouring yourself into art instead of actually trying to fix things.
Now that I've gotten to know him, do I think that he would make for a good husband? I don't think so. I'm so sorry to say that.
What an idiot. I was like, oh my God. Well, we clearly know that Sandy thinks Nick's art is stupid because, baby, that response was crazy. First off, Sandy, people can choose to pour their feelings out however they want. It's actually very healthy and important to have an outlet. And remember, one of Nick's biggest problems with Sandy is that Sandy has a lot of anger, but no outlet to pour her anger out in. So I think it was very funny that she is criticizing and calling Nick's outlet stupid when she doesn't have an outlet. And he wanted her to find one. Sandy is definitely one of those people that thinks it's corny to have hobbies. You know those people. I feel like we all know at least one person who thinks it's corny to like have a legit hobby that's not sitting on your phone and scrolling TikTok all day. Sandy is definitely one of those people. That response, woo, I did not like that. I did not like that at all. So Zaina and Sandy, they do go over and have a conversation afterwards. Zaina is like, look, I am so happy that, JR chose you. I was so happy that it was the two of you guys. I really support your connection and I support you being here. Sandy is like, look, we are only in a trial marriage, okay? We are nothing more. There is no relationship here. I really just want to let you know this is just a trial marriage. Now, she's like, I'm training JR. I've been training JR, okay? I've been letting him know, for you. I've been letting him know some things that are not right for if you two do get married. I was like, what is he talking about, Sandy? Training him? Is he a dog? Is he a dog? What do you mean training him? Anyway, Zaina then's like, well, it's been very worrisome trying to get married to JR because he says things like, once a woman gets a ring, she switches up, and all of these different kinds of things that really show he's afraid of marriage. Sandy's like, well, it's definitely because of his previous relationship. Over to the boys' night. So Nick immediately apologizes to JR.
And I'm learning a lot about myself through this process just by being with her. Because she actually challenges.
He says this is the most difficult thing he's ever gone through, and he has never cried this much. JR is like, so is it because she chose me? And he's like, no. JR's like, look, I lost all respect for you when you showed up at the apartment. When you came into our personal space, that really made me lose respect for you. Nick's like, we never have talked before. Like, I don't really know you. I understand that you say you lost respect, but you have to know this is not a one-sided thing. Sandy has also been throwing out some I miss yous and things like that. So it's not just a one-sided thing. I like how they brushed over that. They really didn't go deeper into that. Now, Nick is like, look, I thought I was going to spend the rest of my life with Sandy, and it's very hard seeing the woman that I thought I was going to spend the rest of my life with look at somebody the way that she looks at you, to JR. So JR at this point is asking about Caleb and Arya. He kind of tries to divert the conversation. They flash back and forth, but at some point they come back to the guy's conversation and he asks about Caleb and Arya. He's like, so I know we're all thinking about Caleb and Arya.
If you already have that mindset, there's really not much for me to say. That's not a conversation for me. You know what I mean? Like, that's a conversation for you two to address on your own time.
Caleb is like, it's cool. It's just a friendship. Nothing more. Scotty's like, well, even if Arya does have a deeper connection with somebody else, I know what I bring to the table, and that's cool. Again, I feel like Scotty is giving victim complex. I'm gonna be honest. This man stays talking about how no one loves him for who he is. He knows what he brings to the table. Blah, blah, blah. It's giving victim complex, sir. So Scotty is like, not believing Caleb. Scotty in the confessional is like, I know for a fact, by the way, he's drunk. Those eyes are bloodshot. But he's like, I know for a fact that there has never been any heterosexual male that has not been attracted to Arya. So this all feels very calculated. And I'm like,
I do not feel like there's been any heterosexual male that has met Arya and only wants to be Arya's friend.
You are right that Caleb does clearly have feelings for her. But I felt like this weird thing he said where there's never been a heterosexual male that's never been into Arya. It's like bragging rights almost. Like, that's my girl. She's so bad and she's bad and no one has ever not liked her because my girl is the bad. I didn't like it. I didn't like the way he said that. So at this point, Scotty is like, look, when Arya and I fight, it is visceral, but Zaina is much calmer than that, and he's like, none of this, wait, sorry, I messed up my notes. So anyways, he said that he heard from someone that Scotty was saying that he was only here for a hall pass.
So you sure?
Yeah, I am sure. Why? What you mean?
I just heard some shit.
What did you hear? Let's get into it.
JR. Because JR, to that last comment, is like, so does this have something to do with me? Like, why are you saying that, Zaina and you get along so well? And he tried to say it has nothing to do with his perceptions of JR. He doesn't even know JR. And he's like, okay, so then why did I hear from somebody then that you were saying that I was only here for a hall pass? He's like, clearly you're trying to fill Zaina's head with all of this different stuff. And the guys are like, whoa, 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 hold on. Whoever told you that is manipulative. Is it Sandy? Is it Sandy the one that told him that? Because I'm actually confused. I have no idea who would have told him that. Is it Sandy? Y'all think it's Sandy? Anyway, he says that he and Sandy have a real connection at this point. So there would be no reason that he would need to try to tear apart Scotty and and Zaina. I don't know. It's just this back and forth thing where somebody told somebody that JR was here for a hall pass. So Nick is like, wait, you and Sandy got a real connection? Does that mean y'all are sleeping together? And he's like, in the same bed? Yeah. He's like, nah, that's not what I'm asking. He doesn't answer. He just stares off into space. Nick is like, this validates all the effed up ish that I've been thinking. This response. So JR is like, look, I'm going to be honest. I have not made my mind up yet about proposing to Zaina, leaving with Sandy. I really don't have anything made up yet. So back to the girls' night, Arya and Mariah are talking. So Arya says that she has talked about some of the fights that he and Mariah have had and with Caleb and some of Caleb's concerns. She lets her know that Caleb feels like she doesn't trust him, and Mariah's like, no, like, it's not that, like, I don't trust, like, it's not anything he did, it's just that my own insecurities pop up, and then I get scared, and blah, 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 blah. She goes on this whole thing about how, no, it's not Caleb, it's me, because she realizes that Caleb is feeling some type of way, and he likes her. So she's now trying to recant, being like, no, it's not him, it's me, it's me. I want him to know it's me. So Arya's like, look, sometimes when you've been in toxic relationships or you've had a toxic life and you finally get into that one genuinely good relationship, you become the toxic person, which very true. I do agree with that. I do think that is valid. Now, Arya says that Caleb has made some things more complicated for her at this point. She's not too sure if she wants to, what she wants to do, who she wants to be with. She says she's never laughed as much as she's laughed with Caleb. So at this point, she really is conflicted about the feelings she's feeling. Mariah says in the confessional, she really didn't realize that anyone could have a deeper connection, emotional connection with Caleb than she does, which y'all have a deep emotional connection. But anywho, sorry about this confusing episode. This is where we ended. Do I think JR is here for a hall pass? Yes. Absolutely. The way you jumped headfirst into say, yes, you are here for a hall pass, sir. I do want to know who said it, though. Who said it? Was it Sandy? Was it Sandy that Anyway, if you made it to this point in the video, that means you liked the video, so I would greatly appreciate if you would consider supporting the channel by liking, sharing, commenting, and subscribing. Check out the other Ultimatum videos if you haven't. Check out my Married at First Sight videos if you haven't, and I will talk to you guys in the next one. Bye!